am always looking for new tools and supplies to make it faster and easier to do caricatures out in the field when you're getting paid by the hour and you need to draw as many as you possibly can. So when I color, I've been using these little mini makeup sponges, which I love, and pan pastels, which I also love. I've tried the crayons that a lot of caricature artists do. I just don't care for them. Okay, I think this is a little bit more elevated look. I like the blending ease of it. And I have found these little things are like daubers, but a bigger head. So like a dauber, when I say that, it's these little things you put on your fingers. And I tried those. Excuse me. But the sponge isn't quite as smooth and dense as this kind of sponge is. And so it just made a lot of dust. It did color, but it left more dust. Now, I got a feeling this might act the same, but it's a bigger surface, and I thought, well, I'll try it, because there's no hard edges, and I don't want to get this line. If I'm putting it down, I don't want to get a line. And so with these having the point, it's great for getting up on this side, but I have to kind of turn them to do this side, because if I do this, then that point leaves a line right there. I don't really care for it. So I thought, well, I'll try this, and you're going to be my guinea pigs today because I haven't used this yet. So I am going to dip it in a couple of colors so it's not too intense, because I have no idea what it's going to do. So I'm going to go in this really pale, this creamy color, and one of these browns. And then maybe go back in that. Let's see what we got. There's some dust, but it being a wider brush, I can take that dust and just kind of keep going with it. I do a quick blow and it gets it off. All right, so now I'm just going to go just in the brown on the edge, and I'm going to try to get a little shadowing in here. Let's see what I get. Maybe over the eyes, right along the base of the nose here. And then I've kept this side kind of clean, so I'm using it to blend. Now I think I'm going to go into my pink a little bit. I got a light pink and kind of a metallic pink, honestly. And I'm just going to add a little pink. And then I got extra of these. So I'm going to keep this for light to medium shades, and they just pull off with Velcro. And then I'm going to put another one on because I want to do her hair. And that's going to be darker because she was a brunette when I did her. So let me go into some darker browns. Let's see how this works. You see how fast this lays down color. I don't mind if I leave a little white up there. You see how dark that is? So I would use this for dark browns, blacks, grays, and that kind of thing. All right, just blowing off the excess. So now I can, for smaller areas, like her lips. Oh, and let me show you one more thing. I have some little small erasers that I don't have with me right now. They're packed up for a gig later. But they're like a quarter the size of the end of this pencil eraser. And this is kind of big, but it won't really matter. I just want to get the whites of the eyes back in there. And that reflection. So anytime I go over any area, okay, then I just take my little white eraser and I get it all. All right, so now let me use this and let me get a little color because I'm going to use the point of this. I always do the top lip first because the top lip's usually darker because it angles in and creates its own shadow. Then when I come down to do the bottom lip, I don't hit the color again. And I start at the edges. And then I just kind of very lightly outline the center and leave a little bit of white. And then I can use another one of these, which I only see one on my desk at the moment. Let me see. I only see one on my desk, so I'll just use the other side of this for now. And let's say she has green eyes. I can always add a little color or not. I didn't really draw her with the color because I hadn't planned on coloring her. And the only difference in that is that I would do another outer line if I knew I was going to color in. But because she had dark eyes, actually, she had dark brown eyes actually in the thing. So I would normally do this with dark brown. And, which, let's do that. We'll go ahead and make them darker. Because she had dark, that's why I did the larger black pupil. To give the look of a darker eye if I was just staying with the black and white drawing. Okay, it's a little trick I've picked up along the way. I'd love to remember the caricature artist's name. I really like him. He's on YouTube and he's got like 2 first names, like Thomas John or John Thomas or something like that. Really cool guy. And I think that may be where I got that one. So just, yeah. And then what I probably would do is get a third one of these for colors like blue and green and purple and, you know, dark pink. Nothing that's natural color, because even if it's dark and I do this might get some brown. It won't be a nice clear color. So you can have one for warm tones and one for cool tones. So let's say I'm going to do her shirt, kind of an aqua. Let's see how fast I can lay this color in with this. So I think if I just go over it, what I'm doing by going back and forth and around is I'm taking the dust that comes off of this and I'm putting it back into the actual drawing. So I like that. Only thing I would like, I'll put the light one back on, is I want a little bit more pink for her. A little bit more pink in her cheeks. A bit more color overall. And then what I would do for her complexion is mix a little bit of this golden with a little bit of pink and a little bit of brown. These are actually kind of cool. This will, it'll change it, but it would make it a more cartoony, which I'm going over brown, so it's not the same effect. But it would make everything a little darker, more cartoony, a little bit more like, say, a traditional caricature. And I'd still leave little bits of white for reflection. And then, of course, I have gone over my eyes again. So, whoops. Marking it with a pencil. That was silly. Now, the other erasers I have, I want to say they're made by Tombow. Mono erasers. Tiny little things. And I keep those in my pouch with my ink pens so that I have them to go and do things like this. The other thing I have used to color with are the little Q-tips that have the points on them. The little cotton swabs that are pointed. And those can be, I don't have them on my table at the moment, but those are good for getting in if the lips are small or, you know, eye color. I wouldn't get so much around it. So yeah. Now, if I wanted to do more around the eyes and I didn't want to take the chance on just having so much getting into the whites, I could use this smaller one and get some shadows around the eyes. Blend it out. Give her a nice little makeup job. So that is my quick coloring in. I think I like this. I do, for really quick things. I'm learning to use these pretty well, but this is easier to see on my table here. Let me turn it. When I'm working, it's easy to see which one I need to pull off. These get a little harder too. I try to keep them in a little tray and keep them in the same place, but when I'm going really fast, sometimes I just keep going with it, and then I end up getting black into my light pink yellow one. You know, you can rub it on on a towel. I keep an old towel with me and just kind of rub it off in between. It gets most of it, but if you try to go back and put this very light clear pink and you've gotten some brown on here and you can't really get it all off, it's going to dull that color. So you just have to know that going in. So I think I might like having these with me for larger areas like the hair and the face background, and then pull these out for the details so I don't have to keep going in like I've had to with these eyes and, you know, erasing the reflection and the whites of the eyes, because these big things just get too close to that. So I think there may be a place. I'm going to try them a little bit longer before I make a decision about using them out in the field. But so far, I kind of like it. So thanks a lot for joining me, and I will be back for some more tutorials.